both North London, Tottenham, Wood Green, started a brand in Wood Green, in my mum's house. They say normally friends will not be friends by the end of it. We just thought we'd make our own thing. And we had absolutely no idea what we were doing or how to start. We just thought, let's have a crack at it.
I guess Vanquish is, the main thing is we are a lifting brand. That's, you know, the culture that we embody. That's everything that we're all about.
In the summer of uni, right, I was looking for someone to lift with back at home. I put a message on Facebook and you were like, bing. We spent so much time that summer lifting, talking about how we can make money, trying to plot and scheme. And then we were buying and selling stuff on eBay. And then one day we just thought to ourselves, let's try our own thing, let's try our own brand, you know, I think.
How old were you that way?
Oh, 20-ish?
I think it was just because we started off hanging out, like Ollie said earlier, I was talking about how we could make money. Like, you know, Ollie was interested in making clothes and stuff. And then I think it didn't feel any different. Like it was just the continuation of what we were already doing, just hanging out, coming up with these ideas.
I mean, obviously we are selling product and that's, you know, what Vanquish is all about. But essentially what we have done and been able to build up is our community. And that is the main point of Vanquish, and that is everything that we focus on, especially over the past couple of years, being able to see that community come together in person, seeing everybody wearing Vanquish like it's a badge of honor, and they feel proud to be a part of this culture, feel proud to be part of this Vanquish brand.
When you see people wearing Vanquish in like different places, like it's, you know, like you'll be in an airport or you'll be like in a gym in another country and then you see someone wearing Vanquish, it's like, it doesn't really get old. I think sometimes people are like, oh, how does it feel when you see people wearing your brand, you see Vanquish here and there, and it's like, I don't think that ever does get boring or like, you never take that for granted. And I think if you do, then you're probably, you shouldn't be doing it anymore if you don't care about that.
I mean, we just both put a grand in, put a spreadsheet on and then wrote down what the stock we were buying and then sold it.
Didn't even consider going to anyone else for any money. I think we just thought that's enough to get started, how much the heat press was, and then some blank vests, and then we just went from there, right? I think that's probably why it worked well, because we had such a small budget. Like you can't really go that far wrong with it, and I think we were comfortable dealing with that amount of money. I think if we'd had more, we wouldn't have known what to do with it.
Definitely.
It made us be a bit smarter with our decisions, because we knew there's not like a second chance. If you blow through this money, like there's no more. And I think like just obviously on the finance side of it, we were both kind of on the same page of everything. I think we wanted to invest into this, grow it as big as possible. We weren't looking for like a payday or anything. We just wanted to really grow it and like see how far we could get with it.
I think it only really becomes stressful as you're trying to keep growing and scaling up. I think me and Ruben are like pure, raw entrepreneurial energy. It's like, we want to fucking do this and we want to do it now. We want to do it yesterday. And I think that's very easy when it's two lads working 24/7 non-stop, getting it done, and the communications between us, so it's simple. But I think, how do you then scale that same energy into a company of 25 people working 9 to 5, 5 days a week? I think that's the hardship. I think we're very lucky to be supported by our mums who let us live at theirs rent-free. We were loving going Sainsbury's and getting these, what was it, 80p?
Ready meals.
Basic ready meals. They were lit, man. I was loving it. Like,
I think it was feeling like you're in the trenches.
Like
we were really, but we weren't earning anything. We didn't take any money for years.
Yeah.
I think once, the first time we ever spent a penny that wasn't on the business was to order a Domino's one time together. That was do you remember that? Like, and that was after a few months, I think, or like a while.
Was that still at my mom's?
Yeah, we were sitting in your mum's living room and we decided this will be the time that we actually buy something for ourselves.
Oh my God.
But I think we wanted to just grow it, like we were like obsessed with growing it. So, you know, we didn't want to take any money out because then it would detract from like what we'd built. So I think we would just keep going all in. And we're still like that to this day. I know I am for sure. Like, and sometimes Ollie thinks I'm crazy, the amount of resources I want to throw back into the business and just make it grow. But ultimately, I think it hasn't served us wrong before. So I think that's kind of what we want to keep doing. You just need to start. I think so many times people are looking for this like godly answer that's going to tell them like a secret that they've been missing out on, and I feel like it's just do it. And I think sometimes people want it to be like final polished kind of product, and it's like you're going to make mistakes. If you went to the gym, you wouldn't expect to be like lifting with perfect form, lifting like your absolute max on day one. Like, you've got to start somewhere, and it's not necessarily going to be pretty, but if you don't take that plunge and start, you never will. And I think sometimes people just want they want this like blueprint of everything you're supposed to do, but there is no hard and fast rules. Like Ollie said, first step for us was, you finding suppliers online and going from there.
Even heat press. Just make some
Yeah.
clothes, try and sell them.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you can spend thousands and thousands and thousands on nothing.
Yeah, and I'd say as well, probably don't start with too much money. I think sometimes people probably want this like financial backing. They want to have a certain amount of money, but like the more you have, the more you've got to lose. So, and if you don't know what you're doing, you're just the failure is gonna be even harder. And I think with it being our own money as well, we were like super protective over it. I think sometimes if people just get given a load of money to start, they're probably just a bit more carefree with it, and they're not like, they didn't work, it wasn't something they had to lose in the first place. There wasn't a lot, like I think we waited weeks to get one order.
2 weeks.
2
right?
weeks, there you go. And I think it was, I could be wrong, I think it was someone from the Netherlands that bought something.
I'm sure it was a buy one, get one free offer we had to do to
Yeah.
stimulate the first cop.
But that for me, I think realizing, no, we're making them to order, because that would, and it was a good strategy. Like I think in theory it would have worked because we had all these designs made that Ollie had done, and then it's just you just make the ones that someone's ordered, so you're not like you can
Stock heavy.
which was in theory it was great. It's just like too much work. Fire up the heat press, get it to the right temperature.
My mum's yard, right?
No, because I took at some points yes, but I think later on I took it to my house, and then try and get the whole process done perfectly. Then you have to wash the thing.
Yep.
Dry it. It was like so much effort for like one piece, and I think it got to a stage I was like, Ollie, I can't do this. This is just not sustainable. For the amount of like what we're getting out of this is taking me hours. Then I was like, Ollie, we can't do this. I don't think it's working. We should just do something else. But I think then you just came up with somebody that could
We found a
screen print in the UK. But that was, I think that was one point when we thought of giving up. But not really. I think we've always like overcome everything that we've had to deal with, everything had thrown at us.
It feels fucked, but never that I'm done. I think that I was pointing at my neck there because I literally was gassed up a couple years ago and I really like unconquerable as something we put on clothes, and I kind of like the mindset of like, we will never give up, unless we go completely bankrupt. It's like anything can be thrown at us, but as long as you feel you're unconquerable and you think, look, you take on this mentality of we're gonna get through it, we're gonna adapt, we're gonna work through it, you can't be stopped. Like, not to sound like an arsehole, but it's like as long as you think bad things will happen, you may dance with heat transfer issues, but anything that gets thrown at us, whether it's lawsuits, whether it's stuff not selling, whether it's your stock gets here and it's fucked, anything is just really an opportunity to adapt. But many years ago, we realized that Ruben is much more detail focused and better at packing the order perfectly, putting a sticker on. But me, slapdash. As I said the other day, like Catton's to him, it's like that kind of raw entrepreneurial energy. But in this case, it's just slapdash. I'd have 2 laptop screens open, sometimes my phone as well. I'd be looking at 3 orders at once, grabbing all 3 of them, just literally trying to get stuff to Ruben as fast as possible. He'd be packing it up, and I do the customer service, albeit eventually then we moved out, started running our bigger warehouse, bringing it back. 2015 energy, doesn't fit. Cut! When I'm standing stuff on Depop, man, I stuff it in. But I digress. Sometimes I have to do it. Sometimes you've got to put it in a Tesco bag. It's like, do you want to get this item on time, or do you want it in a nice bag, Well, that's why all the Vanquish bags have gone missing from the office.
Seeing that community come together, and we had people who came with their parents. They're like 13-year-old boys who came with their parents, and I remember speaking to one of them at our last Manchester event. I mean, because obviously I have a son, and like seeing somebody who's like the same age as my child like turn up to this event with their parent, I'm like, you must really love this. And he was like, I love this. I love lifting. I love the gym, and he was just at the very beginning stage of his journey, but he's like, I love all of this. I love this community. And one thing that he said that really stuck with me was, I don't feel scared or anxious to come to your events. And that was like the biggest thing. Like this young 13-year-old boy who's asked his dad to take him to one of our events. And he was like, you guys make me feel so comfortable. You make me feel so comfortable to be here. I feel like I can join in. And I think that's something that we create within our community, and even with our athletes when they're there, they're talking to the community. It's not one of those, we'll stand, meet and greet, take a picture. Like they're involved in lifting, they're giving pointers, they're hyping up like those who are lifting as well, having conversations, and that's what we've created. And I just want to see that grow and grow. And I feel like we've done an amazing job on that over the past year. I think one thing about Vanquish that makes us stand out for sure is we have never deviated away from who we are. We have always been a lifting brand, and we have, never moved away from that. And we are unapologetically ourselves, and we stay true to our brand identity.
The main core of our brand, and like ultimately we haven't strayed away from that. I think a lot of other brands have kind of tried to be all things to all people, and we've obviously stuck to this, and we've always made product that was for our customer and for this community. And in the last year especially, we've done a lot of community events. I think we tried to like really reach out and bring everyone together. And I think that's where, other brands, as they've grown and got bigger, they've kind of maybe lost their identity a bit, lost those roots. And that's where we've always tried to stay true to that. Otherwise it just becomes kind of this soulless money-making machine, which is not what we're trying to really do.
We first entered this industry, I guess it was obviously within the bodybuilding scene, and we brought on the likes of Jeremy Buendia.
I can't remember if it was something like he'd liked one of our pictures or he DM'd us. There you go, he DM'd us. I think he was just parting ways with another company, and it kind of came around at this time. I think we might have been sitting in the barbers at the time, and I was looking through the DMs and I just saw Jeremy. I think he probably had like a blue tick as well at the time. I was like, whoa, what's this? And I think, we probably couldn't believe that he was messaging us. And then we instantly started having a conversation. He said he was interested in working with us. And it kind of just grew from there, really. We were just like, look, how do you want this to go? Like, how do you see us working together? And then we sent him out some clothes. He loved them. The relationship just grew from there, really. And he grew from strength to strength as well. He went on to win multiple titles, and that was a massive partnership for us. Yeah, part of the kind of origins of where we started growing from, really.
He definitely kind of helped us grow and enter that bodybuilding market, which is so niche in the fitness industry, but there is so much interest and there's such a strong community around bodybuilding. The biggest thing we look for when we are working with our partners and our athletes is their community. That is the biggest thing. It's the biggest KPI for us. It's the biggest thing we focus on as a brand.
I mean, it's the most asked question because it's probably the most relevant for anyone who wants to get into this industry, but it's ultimately just about community, really, isn't it? Like, it's what it boils down to. If people like what you're doing, if you add value in the space, you're gonna grow, you're gonna build that kind of cult following, and then, the sky's the limit from there, as long as you kind of stay true to that audience that you started with. But I guess that's it, really. We're looking to build our community, get people together with all of the events that we're doing, and ultimately, if people can help grow that and contribute to that, then of course that's what we're looking for.
As a brand, you need to offer more to your consumers. You have to give them a sense of feeling, a reason to be a part of this. You have to give them a community to be a part of, or you're just another online brand. And I think that's something we massively focus on. So then in return, we also want to look for athletes that have that same, I guess, motivation behind their growth as well.
Yeah, if you have people that listen to everything you do, that's what this whole industry started off, like YouTubers and stuff like that, and people would literally watch full day of eating or day in the life kind of vlogs, and people just become so like obsessed with people would they want to emulate that for themselves. Yes. Biggest achievement is obviously like relevant to like what time things happened at. Like, you could look back and say that was our biggest achievement because it started this or started that. But
to be honest, I'd say every event that we do feels like a great achievement, and I feel cementing the process and the way with which we roll out these smaller UK events has been sick. And I'm excited, not even as a promo, but I think the 10-year event's gonna be a fucking sick event, because it's like there's so much we've learned doing events for the last year, and with every one we get better, and we're trying to roll it into this perfect event.
A lot of different styles we're trying to introduce in the next few months. I'm gassed. I know you're gassed. I know you said. I think we did a lot of similar stuff last year, but this year we're really trying to branch out. I think something we're very proud of. We got the 10-year anniversary tee in a couple of colors, really nice red and white. Yeah, very proud of this tee. Really loving the kind of stack tech. Sick event in Japan. It was great seeing the community out there. This is Atlas, right? Which is from Greek mythology. It was forced to hold up the world on his back. Greek mythology is really cool within that kind of uplifting community. It's very strong, hard-working, like we'd like to think our community and our company is, you know? Yeah, I think this is a pretty sick tee. Having like a contrast colored text as opposed to just your standard white and black is pretty dope.
I feel like I came at a point where it really was pivotal and there was such a change going on. I think even just from like the product, I mean, back from when we were doing like the skinny, they were practically like jeggings, leggings, Eclipse trousers. And obviously that was the trend at the time. The guys loved that, you know, that was the trend.
For sure, those Eclipse pants, like I think we refined them to the point that they probably were the most iconic pair of fitted joggers in the industry for a long, long time. And I think that's why they sold so well. Like it was something, like you said, we wore it every single day. Like we lived and breathed that product. So I'm glad 40,000 other people agreed.
Those pants were literally made to be so tapered that, because I think essentially they almost fit a size down with more stretch, so they would always fit so tight. And we loved training and wearing those pants so often that we were continuously tweaking them. That same person was telling me about when I told them about it, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. But I think that's the love and passion you put into your favorite piece and keep moving it on. And that's how sometimes I think it's easy to get lost in a company of this many staff.
But it's insane to go from that and then see now it's like bigger the trouser, the better, you know? It's, you know, seeing the baggy cargos, seeing the big, you know, graphic oversized tees. We were definitely one of those, I would like to say, first brands that started to introduce that oversized shape into the market. We saw how successful that was. We were very quick to like jump on that trend, and it has been a success. But yeah, it's been crazy to see how the product has changed so much. And I think that's one thing that we've done very clever is, well, first of all, I don't know if you guys know, but it was director Ollie who was doing all of the designs initially. So when I first came on board 5 years ago, he still was so heavily involved in all of the design side of things. And then, you know, we knew we were growing, we knew that we really need to expand. So we invested a lot internally in kind of reshaping that team. So we brought in our head of design and we've kind of grown our design team.
Well, I think one thing I would change is probably just think if we'd delegated and outsourced certain tasks sooner, we would have got further quicker. I think we were too much like a martyr to every single task, and like that's held us back in terms of being able to really like look at the business overall and focus on like what's the most impactful things that are going to help us grow. I think we've just, it's very hard though. I think anyone that starts something from scratch is going to have that problem where you don't want to let go of this task, you don't trust someone to do it. So I think there's certain things that we didn't know and we weren't experts at that we probably wasted too much time going back and forth. And if we just had someone who knew what they were doing, would have saved time.
I feel like anybody who works with us externally, and like any of the athletes that we've worked with, even when we're on set doing our shoots, the freelance crew that we work with, that is the one feedback we get all the time. And it's always, we're such an amazing team to work with because we make everyone feel so comfortable, and it really does feel like a family. Like obviously we are this big international global brand, but internally there's what, like 20 of us, I think?
25.
Yeah, so like 25 of us, and we're the ones that are really making those cogs turn. And it's nice in that sense because we all still can have a close relationship with each other. And I feel like we all care. We all really, really care. Like I see it when everybody walks in through the door and the conversations that we're having, and we're creatively like brainstorming and bouncing off each other. Like it's so nice to be able to have those conversations.
I think when we first heard Better Than Yesterday, I like to think me and you thought, this is fucking sick, this sounds great, like this is something we can get behind and push.
Yeah.
But I think some people...
Not everyone was keen on it, but I think now it's like, we liked it the whole way through, so I think we just kept coming back to it.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Being better than yesterday is kind of that whole process, right? It's about consistency, always trying to just improve that little bit more than the day before. And it's not about like, again, achieving everything overnight. It's that kind of long process, and accepting that and embracing that.
When I joined 5 years ago, to even be where we're at now, I wouldn't have expected, and all the things that we have gone through to get to where we are. So to think of like another 5 years or 10 years, to be honest, I just want to enjoy this process, and I want all of us to enjoy this process. Like, we are very lucky that we have a very close internal team. And again, it sounds so cliche when people are like, it's like a family. I feel that word is like thrown around like so loosely so much, but I generally can say everybody within this business cares so much about this brand and cares so much about each other. And I think I want everybody to enjoy the process and enjoy being a part of this growing brand. And that's what I want to see.
I think that's something we probably don't do enough. I don't think we actually like look to the future and say, right, we want to be doing this at this time, this at that time. I think for me, it's because I feel like the ambition is just unlimited. Like, I don't want to like set a limitation on it and say, oh, I'd only like to be doing this in 10 years time. Like, I think the answer would always be, we want to be doing the absolute most that we possibly can be doing within the next 10 years.
We all move at different paces. We all move in our own journey. Vanquish is its own brand and it has its own journey. And I think that's something that we kind of need to remember, because I think sometimes we do very much get stuck in that mindset. We're like, why haven't we done that yet? Why aren't we doing that? And I think that's my biggest lesson for sure, is to kind of, you know, and also when we have done well, to remember to take time to be, you know, praise yourself. I think sometimes a lot of the time we're like, okay, next big thing. What are we gonna do next? When we do this? And sometimes we're like, we're forgetting about enjoying the process along the way, forgetting to enjoy the journey. I think we're always kind of like, next step, what's the next big thing? And like, we just don't give ourselves a pat on the back enough and just kind of like, you know what, we did well, this was sick. Like, let's just be in this moment and enjoy this moment.
That's it.
The thing is, some of the stuff we did on day one was probably
More
some of
efficient.
the best stuff we did, but
Yeah, that just...
I think we always just said from day one, we just to make it as massive as possible. This is as far as we've got so far. I think it's just, for me, it would just be growing a massive team of people who are like amazing at what they do and helping us take this vision to like another level that we haven't even thought about yet. And like really getting some great people on who can help us grow. That's the main thing I'd want to see out of this, just like a massive team, something that's impacting a lot of people's lives. It's a brand that's well known everywhere, and just to see it in all the gyms everywhere. I don't know if we would have thought we would have been in this position in 10 years, or maybe we would have liked to be further ahead, I don't know.
I feel like anybody